I'm single right now, and I don't have any plans to get into a relationship anytime soon. The last one was. How can I put it nicely? It ended in a total train wreck. Before I tell you what happened, please like and subscribe. We've been together for over 3 years, and I think I just got used to the way things were. From the inside, I didn't see the way she was treating me. I just accepted anything she did, thinking that that was the way things were supposed to be. But if I think about it now from a different perspective, I can't believe I lasted a month, let alone 3 years. We met at a bus stop. It was pouring outside, but I had an umbrella. As I was waiting for my bus, I looked to my right, and there she was, Amanda. Her arms were crossed, and half of her jacket was placed on top of her head. I wasn't really someone who would engage in conversations with strangers, but something told me to go help that poor girl out. I put the umbrella over her head. We locked eyes, and that's when my life started to fall apart. A month went by, and we moved in. It seemed that we were a match made in heaven. "Honey, do you want eggs and oatmeal for breakfast?" Her sweet voice would wake me up. I'd open my eyes, and there she was, right next to the bed, holding a cup of tea and looking at me as no one did before. "Sure, babe. Love you. Love you too." You may wonder, what am I on about? It all seems pretty amazing, but just wait. I was working a dead-end job during that time. But as fate had it, one of the recruiters I sent my CV to thought that I was perfect for their company. I got a call and scheduled an interview. Things moved on fast, and in about a week I had a new office job that paid twice as much. I was on cloud 9, and I thought Amanda would be too. But no, she had a very different opinion about everything. "So, any cute girls at the office?" she asked me one night as I came home from work. I laughed and didn't respond. I was just getting ready to hop into the shower. "Max, I asked you something." "Oh, I thought you were joking." "Well, our team is mostly comprised of guys. Lydia at the front desk is a girl. I know that because she's the one who greeted me on the first day. And apart from her, I don't know if I saw any other girls there. There may be others in the building, but I'm not sure," I replied. Amanda didn't say anything. I went into the bathroom, turned on the water, and closed the door. As the water was pouring on my head, a loud bang startled me. It was the sound of a door being opened. "Lydia? How do you know her name? What else do you know about her, Max, huh? Her bra size?" Amanda started yelling out of nowhere. "Are you crazy? What are you talking about? She works there. How could I not know her name?" I replied, trying to calm her down. I never saw that reaction before. It was like she was a totally different person. That night, I slept on the couch. God knows why. But that was just the beginning. She started to become increasingly jealous, and our relationship started to suffer. We didn't talk much. I tried to make her feel loved and beautiful, but she kept pushing me out. She was certain I was having an affair at work. The last job didn't involve other people. I was alone in a booth, so that was okay with her. But this idea of me being around others in an office seemed to make her go crazy. One evening, as I came home, I noticed that all the lights were off. It was only 7 p.m., and Amanda wouldn't have been sleeping yet, but who knows, she might have been tired. I slowly went into the living room, dropped my bag, and then turned around to go to the bedroom so I can check up on her. "Where have you been?" I heard a voice coming from the darkness. I was startled. "Answer me!" Amanda yelled, increasing the creepiness of the situation. I turned on the lights. There she was, on the living room chair, holding a quilt in her lap. "What do you mean? I've been at work," I responded, almost rolling my eyes. I was sick of that question. She always knew where I was. "With who? With Lydia? Did you guys fuck in your office? On the pile of reports you always say you're working on when I call you? That's because you call me at work every 15 minutes. And no, I didn't fuck Lydia, okay? When will you get it? I am not cheating on you!" I yelled. I lost my temper. It was the first time I would yell at her, and it felt strange. At that moment, I realized that she'd been so controlling our entire relationship, but I never noticed it before. I then asked her what was with that quilt in her lap. Amanda smiled and showed me that she had something underneath it. "See this?" This will be jammed into your head and then into Lydia's head when I catch you fucking her, understand? Amanda said, while I looked at the knife she was holding. The situation was getting way out of control. I told her that it's not cool and that I'll go get a room at a hotel so she can calm down. If you leave, I'll kill myself. Do you really want that on your conscience, Max? Amanda told me. Of course I didn't. So I stayed home. I took a shower, and when I came out of the bathroom, Amanda was acting as nothing happened. She was in the kitchen, making some tea and singing. Do you want any tea, babe? She asked, as I couldn't believe her sudden change in behavior. I declined and went to bed. At around 2 a.m., I got up. I was thirsty. But Amanda wasn't in the bed. She wasn't even in the house. I wanted to get my phone, but I saw that it was in the bed, not on the nightstand. I had a feeling that she went through my messages, and I was right. As I was looking at which apps she opened, I saw a series of texts. She used my phone to text Lydia. She said that I needed some help, that I was feeling really sick and I needed to be in the presence of someone. So she asked Lydia for her address so that I'll go over there. She texted saying that if it would make me feel better, I should come over. She went to her house. I panicked. I got dressed and headed to that address. Sure enough, all the lights were on at 2 a.m. I looked through the window and my worst nightmare came true. Amanda had tied Lydia to a chair, and she was walking around her, saying something, holding the knife she had at home. I immediately called the police, but it seems that she heard me outside the window. The next thing I knew, I was pinned down to the floor with the cold blade of the knife pressed against my forehead. What are you doing, honey? Did you come to save that? You knew she was married, right? Nothing happened. You're insane. I called the police, you know. They'll be here soon. She laughed and said that she had enough time to kill me and her. But something happened. Lydia's husband came from right behind her and grabbed Amanda in a chokehold. He threw her to the ground. He was back from his business trip, and honestly was a godsend at that time. Amanda started to yell, but the police sirens interrupted her. She fled. I told the officers who she was and what she looked like, and most importantly, that she was dangerous. The next day, I put all of her stuff in the hallway. I guess she came back one night to take her clothes, or someone else took them. I don't know. All I know is that they're gone. Some nights, as I'm asleep, I have this feeling that someone's there in the bedroom watching me. And as soon as I get up to see who it is, the person flees. Seems like it'll be a while before things get peaceful for me.
Horror movies were one thing. Having a girlfriend who loved them was another thing. And having a girlfriend who loved to practice what she watched was the height of it all. The abnormal fetish that Grace had for such movies remained a mystery to me. She would only say she loved them so much, and she would love to see them happen in real life. She had practiced a lot of the movies on unsuspecting mates in school, which left me no choice but to stop her from watching such movies, which she promised to stop, but only after she did the last scare that she had been planning for years. Be careful. That was the only thing I told her that day. If I had known, or asked her to tell me what her plan was exactly, the school would probably not be in smoke, and a lot of students wouldn't be in the burn unit in the hospital, if they weren't dead like others. Tonight, we feast, she said before putting hands in mine and walking into the dance room. It was our prom night, and the room was different shades of bright colors. But when Grace decided to put on black, I had to accept it because the color was totally up to her, and I had to wear whatever she wore. She had a weird smirk plastered on her face throughout the journey, from her house to the school, and even while on the dance floor, that smirk didn't leave her face. Also, she kept texting a particular number throughout the journey, using question marks and full stops only. Is this all a part of the scare? I thought. I decided not to ask her. Why spoil the fun since I was here also? The light in the room suddenly went off. The only light in the room came from the shiny gowns of the girls. A solemn music began to play from the speakers, I looked around for Grace in the dark, but I didn't see any blonde-haired girl who looked like her, or any girl who was dressed in black. I stood rooted to my spot to prevent myself from falling. I had barely gotten the thoughts of Grace being behind the whole thing when I felt a force push me to the ground. I tried to adjust myself back up, but I felt pinned to the ground by the same force, and I just decided to lay flat on the floor. I didn't have enough strength to fight with someone who I couldn't see. "The end is now the beginning," a very thin voice said. It didn't sound like Grace, but was not also far from what she sounded like. I tried to catch a glimpse of anyone on the ground with me, but everyone was bothered about talking to their prom dates, while Grace left me with no one to talk to but myself. A liquid began to pour on everyone, and when I tried to move away just so it wouldn't touch me, I felt a huge dump of it on me. I heard a mocking laugh and a frown formed on my face. I picked the person who poured the liquid on me by the feet, and the person fell to the ground, the glass of liquid in their hand shattering into pieces right behind them. "How dare you!" I yelled into their face. The person didn't say anything, but only stared back at me. The light came on again, and I checked the face of the person I was holding. It was Chris, Grace's best friend. "Was it just your plan to destroy prom, or kill everyone here if the light didn't come on?" I asked him. He shook his head before covering his face in the fear that I would hit him again. I let him go, but not before locating Grace. She had to be there somewhere. She would be the mastermind after the whole scare. I walked into the common room and there she was, in the arms of another guy. "Was this the reason you wanted to scare everyone? To have the time to do this?" I asked her in disappointment. "Steve, I'm sorry. I'm just in love, and I don't know how to satisfy you both simultaneously." I closed the door behind me forcefully. It was the first time I was so much in love and so much heartbroken at the same time. So much for love, I thought before walking out of the school building. I looked back for a second and the whole building went up in flames. Students tried to run out as fast as they could. I searched for Grace in the crowd, but couldn't find her. If she set the school in flames, she could have at least found a way out for herself, but I didn't see the vibrant, weird smile on the face of anybody except Chris, who had an evil laugh on his face. I perceived the odor on my cloth, and it all became clear. It was petrol. I tried to run into the building to save Grace, but Chris pulled me back. He then whispered in my ear, "She was a bitch. Let her burn. Good for both of us." If only I could have warned her. If only. I stared at Chris for a few seconds in hatred before walking back home.